Hello everyone, my name is Anupodar. So today I am going to discuss about unit number 3, software architecture and planning a software project. So the contents that we are going to discuss in this video is some other styles, documenting architecture, design and evaluating architectures. So there are some other styles as we have discussed in the previous slide. In addition to this, there are some other architectural styles. First one is public subscribe style. So in this style, there are two types of components. One component subscribe the set of defined events. Other types of component generate a publish events. In response to these events, the components that have published their intent to process the event will be invoked. Second one is peer-to-peer style or object-oriented style. So in this style, the components are peers and any component can request a service from any other component. And here components are used as objects and connectors are viewed as method invocations. So this model is primarily supported through middleware connectors like Cobra or .NET. Third one is communication process style. So it is the oldest model of distributed computing. The components are processes or threads which communicate with each other with message passing or through shared memory. So it is used in complex system which use multiple threads or processes. And next topic is documenting architecture design. So a document describing the architecture contains the following. That is the architecture of the project, system and architecture context, description of architecture views, across view, documentation. So the first element what we find here is element catalog. So it provides more information about the elements shown in the primary representation. So it gives information about the element interface and what all interfaces are provided which should be specified. Now this element catalog also describes clearly states the error condition that a interface can return. So these are all the contents that are present in element catalog. B1 is architecture rationale. So architectural rationale gives the reason for selecting the different element and composing them in the way it was done. Okay. Now the next element that is found in the architecture design is the architecture documented design is behavior. Now a view gives the structure information. So in a structure, all possible interaction during an execution will be shown. Now sometimes it is necessary to get some idea of the actual behavior of the system. So if the client wants to know the actual behavior of the system, so such a description is useful for arguing about properties such as deadlock. Other information. So this may include description of all those decisions that have not been taken during architecture creation. So if this is done, then it must be specified as fixing. The next step is evaluating architecture. Okay, so one documentation of architecture is done, then we evaluate the architecture. Architecture of the software system impacts the key non-functional quality attributes like modifiability, performance, reliability, portability, etc. Okay, so architecture of the software is very important. So it may impact non-functional quality attributes. Evaluating a proposed architecture for these properties can have a beneficial impact on project. Now there are many non-functional quality attributes. So some attributes have a significant impact on architecture such as performance, reliability and availability, security and other attributes. So another approach is procedure. It is a sequence of steps in which is followed to evaluate the impact of architecture on some attributes. Now first what we do is to evaluate the architecture, first identify the attributes of interest for which the architecture should be evaluated. So to identify the attributes, it will be determined from stakeholders. So once we identify the attributes, these attributes will be listed in a table. Okay, so once we make a table for each attribute, an experience based and other analysis will be done by the architecture. Now the analysis mentions the level of each attribute. So based on the outcome of this analysis, the architecture is either accepted or rejected. So this is how we evaluate the architecture. That is, first we identify the attributes which are interested from the stakeholders. Then these attributes we listed in a table. So for each attribute, we do the subjective analysis to assess the level supported by the architecture. Now once the analysis mentions the level for each attribute, so based on the outcome of analysis, the architecture is either accepted or rejected. But if it is rejected, it may be enhanced to improve the performance of the attribute. Now in this video we have discussed about other architecture styles, why documenting architecture design is required, evaluating the architecture. Thank you.